Alright, hello everybody, and welcome back to the house in Fata Morgana. Am I recording? Yes, I am. Okay. Where we last left off, we had a choice to make. So, let's get into that. The witch. Yes. So, we either accept her proposition, reject her proposition, or just say there's still more to be done. I say there's still more to be done, because this is the more safer option. If we reject her proposition, she's gonna get mad, probably. But if we accept her proposition, we'll probably be falling for a lie, because we were told throughout the story that it was a lie. This is fabrications. And if we say there's still more to be done, she will just probably take it as, oh, you haven't regenerated all your memory yet. So, or you're still unsure about who you are. So let's just go with this one. Something seems off. Okay, what's this about? Not only with the story she had just told, with her, and with you yourself. Assuming everything she had said was the truth, which or not my mind is made up. Which will strike you first, I wonder? Regret or the curse? You seem to be doing just fine. It's only a tale. The witch is real, very much so. It's not a legend or a fairy tale. The witch is me. That's right. It wasn't the white-haired girl who had claimed to be the witch. And that wasn't all. Or do you mean to reclaim your old self no matter the cost? The man in the painting. If you do so, if you're sincerely prepared to do that, then be wary of the tale that comes next. Any tragedy that seems too beautiful to be real is precisely that. A fabrication. Ooh. None of your questions have been answered. You still don't know who the painting was, or what had taken place so long ago that caused the mansion to summon people to it. You didn't even know who you were, for that matter. There was still more to be done, so you had to find the truth. You need to find someone. That was much certain. But was the story the maid had told correct about whom? And if it was, what about her? What about the woman? What about the woman whose name you could not say? The woman who had so cheerfully called you master. Oh. We agreed that we would live together, not just in the same house, so we got plenty of time to add more to the list. And I hope you can make your own list about me too. It's just the beginning after all. We got a long time ahead of us. Plenty enough to get to know each other now. Oh God, secrets. You must say her name. You must take her hand. You must make her smile once again. Yeah, we don't. You mustn't reclaim your old self. It's dark. Dark. It's dark. It's dark again. It's dark. 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 Constantly. Constantly engulfed in darkness. You threw it away every single time. I must break out of this darkness. I will give you a world that is not cruel to you. I must escape and take her hand. Because that's the reason why. That's the reason I came here. Oh, I got a wonderful idea. You can curse them with me. I must return, I must reclaim. We can think of new ways to torture them. We'll all be happier if you stay here. Just think about it. Just stay here in this world. You'll be right at home. No, I did the best I could for you, nothing more. This is not where I belong. No matter how much of a world of darkness may suit me, you will never be able to do it. I must reclaim my true self. Reclaim yourself. This is brilliant. Do you have any idea how terrible a decision that is? Do you have any idea why I fabricated that story? It was all for you. So stay here. Stay right where you are. The darkness suits you better. Reclaim myself. Fuck you. Remember what someone told you not long ago? That you couldn't handle the stories because they weren't your own. That you were able to bear the tragedies because they had happened to others. If that had been your suffering, if the secrets you had kept buried away for so long had come out, you couldn't possibly endure it. You have to endure it. It's your tragedies. But you're a sharp one. I'm sure you intend to keep those secrets tucked away forever. Do you really think I'm going to let you do that, though? Whatever you try to hide, I will make sure your beloved hear every last detail. How foolish can you be? Despite all my encouragement, you still insist on getting your old self back. What do you have to gain from that? My sense of identity? Nothing but filthy, ugly tragedy awaits you down this path. I'm still wanted. I still want it. Don't get your hopes up, my dear. There's nothing for you there. You have nothing. I'm offering you a place by my side. You should just take it. No. There is no salvation for you anywhere. None at all, anywhere, from anyone, ever. Still reclaiming myself. She has long since lost all grip on reality, and you think there is anything you can do for her now, despite having repeatedly failed to even regain yourself. Reclaim. Well, I suppose if you're going to be stubborn, as much as I don't want to, I have no place. A curse our soul. That's right. The white-haired girl was never at the mansion. What? Wait, what? The white-haired girl was somebody else. There's still a story left untold. What? The fourth door was all a lie, because the white-haired girl never existed. What do you mean? It was not some sweet little tragedy. The story you told was pure fantasy. That was the truth. That was there. That was where it all began. Because of what happened then, you spent innumerable years lost until you show up here and... What? You reach out, grasping for it. You pull yourself in. Your silhouette, which has been hazy until now, begins to take form. Your mind, your consciousness, your heart, your soul, and your body. Who are you? The veil in your mind dissipates. A crack forms in the shell encasing you, then another. The invisible shackle chaining your spirit fall to the floor. I hope I'm recording. Yes, I am. Reality fades atop the distinct foggy world around you. Bony fingers appear before your eyes. Long hair. What? Your voice. No. My voice. My body. My fingers. My arms are frail and my joints weak. But despite my resemblance to the white-haired girl, I am not her. This is who I am. I have finally reclaimed myself. You weren't waiting for the white-haired girl. You were waiting for me. And that's exactly why I came here. What? I have no idea. What are you talking about? I've always waited for the white-haired. There was never a white-haired girl. There was only this time. This time I must say her name. She is Giselle. There was only you. Is that her name? Is your name Giselle? I am Giselle? No, I am not Giselle. I am a servant of the house. I am the witch, the cause. You are not a witch. The witch is someone else. Oh, so she's not the witch. Why do you insist that you're the witch? What changed you so much? So the witch is somebody else. Oh, that's the maid? The shadowy figure in the master bedroom, that was her. A glimpse into her past. I'm sure this is Giselle, but why is she so different? What happened to the spark we used to have? Where did the light she once shone upon the world go? I have to remember. I must remember. This cannot end until I have. This is no longer a story. No, what I need to face is my past. And her heart. She was not even present in the story she made up. Right, she wasn't there. Everything about it had been changed. The past I live in and the wounds she bore were more grounded in harsh reality, not wrapped in a film of fairy tale magic. That was the final tale, and it was all true. That's how it happened. It was a bittersweet story. No. How can you not see this? Yes, it was a beautiful tragedy. But there, but was there even a scrap of humanity in it? Behind the three preceding doors, there has been a constant thread of ugliness and conflicting motivations. But there was hardly a trace of that behind the fourth door. The characters felt like nothing more than characters. Is that what you want to turn it into? Is that what you want our history to become? Our history? Our... But that... But I don't... I don't remember anything at all. You don't remember anything? No, I don't want to. I don't need a past or a future. All I have left inside me is uncertainty. Giselle. No, no. That's not my name. Please stop trying to confuse me. I'm fine with things the way they are. If it means I don't have to hurt, that's all I want. So please, just let me keep being the maid. Let me keep being a guide, not some foolish girl. Is that what she honestly desires? Does she want to cast aside her past for good? Hold on. Give me a minute. Okay, we're back. Cast aside her past for good. So if so, then I won't force her. Remembering isn't an not remembering. She wants to cast aside her past for good, but I want to know. It's better to know. It's better to endure. And to become somebody you're not. I won't force her. Not remembering isn't an option. No matter what she say, I know I'm right. I should have made a save right there. Damn it. And if she doesn't reclaim her old self, I'll never get to hear her say my name again. I know I'm being selfish here, but I can't do that. If you're afraid of what you might find, we can remember together. If I haven't gotten everything back yet myself, so let's open the real door together. I haven't gotten everything back yet myself. So the witch stopped talking. There are no other doors to open. But there is one that can only be opened by our hands, because it exists between the two of us. Not a door with a physical form, but the door to your heart. The door to... I grabs her unnaturally cold hands, a hand that long ago once had warmth. If she can't lead the way, then I have to. We must pick up the pieces of our erased history so we can both reclaim ourselves. Find the actual truth. No matter what we may uncover, I will not let go of this hand. No, I mustn't let go of it. Darkness falls over the world around us. The floor upon which we had been standing flickers out of existence, sending us dropping into an endless abyss. This dark pit, this is her door, her history, her heart. Let's try this one more time. It's not a sweet story by any means. It's a story of betrayal, anger, and hatred. We cause each other's pain. But that's the road we traveled. And down that road lies all the answers. Okay, so the last story was a fabrication. This should be the real story then. The fourth door. The fifth door. 1099. There is a fifth door. Like a fifth night in Five Nights at Freddy's. Oh, ooh. Roses. It has been several days since I left the capital, and I could still see it, when I close my eyes. The people lined up on the Grand Point, awaiting entry, eager to start a new life there, brimming with hope. It was a city people were willing to pay high taxes to live in. If you were a performer, you could get some of those costs shaved down by a bit by putting those skills to use. The capital was harsh on those who wanted in, and apathetic about all who left. It was composed of a powerful nobility and clergy, wealthy merchants and bankers, and a large population of poor. And it was a city I had called home for a long time. I didn't know much about where I was heading. Giselle, it's getting foggy. Oh, we've seen this before. It looked like it might rain. Maybe we should take a little break. You want to keep going? Oh, alright then. I like the music, by the way. The coachman was frustratingly taciturn. He acted as though he has gotten stuck transporting a prisoner. Damn. Though that was hardly a stretch. From his point of view, I was nothing more than a criminal. Even the times he would acknowledge I had said anything, he made no effort to hide the scorn in his eyes. To pretend he didn't regret ever taking this job. And I would just fall silent again. The road was gradually getting narrower. We had long since left the paved city roads behind, and were now traveling along a couple worn-down groves in the forest. How did I end up here? Why was I being subjected to this? I was done thinking about it. The more I thought on it, the less fair it seems. The more I remember, the worse it hurts. All I could do anymore was close my eyes and weather the storm. Deep within the dense woods, a mansion appeared before us like the world fading into view after a dream. We read that already. It didn't seem to be an especially large house, but it had obviously been constructed with a great deal of care, and it was thankfully not standing in ruins. This deep in the forest, the carriage came to a stop, and the coachman climbed down, signaling with his chin for me to get out. Thank you very much. You must be tired after such a long journey. This is the mansion I'm looking for, yes? But the driver didn't even acknowledge me, getting back onto the carriage and setting off into the forest. He seems to want to get as far away from here as quickly as possible. He could have said something. Oh well. That was about all I could say anyways. Oh well. I couldn't blame anyone for my being here, or for his wanting to get out. I should get going, I guess. Getting a better look at it, the house windows were strangely enough all shuttered. It was probably dark as pitch inside. Does no one live here? But if that's the case, then why was I placed my hand on the front door. Such a big door. What if I couldn't get in? I had no idea what else there was in the area. If the door didn't open, then I would die out here in the forest. I've come to accept much, but I was not ready to forfeit my life yet. Please open. It's not locked, I guess. The door was heavy, and though it seems to protest my attempts to enter it, it still opened much easier than I was expecting. I was worried over nothing. Looking in, I got the strangest impression that light was being swallowed up into the mansion's depths. Rather than going inside, it felt as though I was about to step outside the boundaries of this world. When I closed the door, it was so dark I couldn't even tell where I was walking. I wonder if the window's open. Though I managed to fumble my way over to a window, it was tightly shuttered, and the shutters caked with rust. This is about the same as the last door. I was probably not getting it open without a fight. Yeah, it's the same as the last door. Darn, not a hint of light. Oh, but the name is different this time. We're called Giselle this time. I couldn't even see my hand waving in front of my face. It felt as though the door would fall out from under me. The floor would fall out from under me, and I would sink into eternal darkness if I didn't watch my step. Fighting back that fear, I slowly walked forward, tracing the walls with my hand. There was a door at the end of the long corridor. I pulled it open, and whiffs of bone-chilling air brushed past me. It was so dark to see anything, but I could feel something different present in the area than the rest of the house. Uneasiness grips me. Hello, is anyone there? Please don't tell me it's actually abandoned. I suppose I can't know without looking around a bit more. My voice simply disappeared into the void. No response. As I pushed forward through the freezing air, For a split second, I spotted a shimmer of light. Squinting my eyes, I was able to make out a large window. Unlike the others, it wasn't shuttered. What do we have here? Drapes. I see a little light beyond. My chances were slim, I imagine, but if there was even a slight possibility of getting some light in here, it was worth the shot. So I pulled open the drapes. The next moment, faint but colorful lights shone down on me. It was a stained glass window. From beyond the glass, I could hear the subtle pitter-patter of rain. It has finally started, it seems. The different colors of light blended into a milky white, dim but wondrous. It's so pretty. It looks like an angel. Why would anyone ever cover this up? It's beautiful. With a little more light it will be. Please do not touch the drapes. Or the windows. Suddenly I heard a voice, and I could sense someone else in the room. The man whose voice was emotionless, neither deep nor high. Before long he came into view, illuminated by a dull orange candlelight. Michelle. I'm sorry for coming in uninvited, but I did announce myself. The man stood there practically blending in with the darkness. Had he been there the whole time? He was staring straight at me. His gaze wavered slightly, but not enough for me to read anything in it. Then again, I could hardly make out any detail at all under the light of a single candle. Is this, your mansion? It is. Thank goodness, I was afraid it was deserted. I suspect you would have preferred it if the house were abandoned. Oh, not at all. I would be scared to death staying in this dark mansion all by myself. I'm sorry. No ill will intended. But I do think it could do with some light. That way you could see where you were walking, yeah. And I'm sure this room would look splendid illuminated. Not necessarily. I make do perfectly well as things are. How can you see when it's so dark? I have an abundance of candle and oils for lamps. I am not in want of means of creating light. It is not your place to criticize my lifestyle. If you need light, you are free to leave. Oh yeah, it's different a little bit. If you are in need of money, help yourself to some of the furniture. There's a village not far from here. Trade it for food and make your way to a larger town. I am no longer able to freely return to the city. I cannot go back there. Please don't chase me out. I see. And you do ask this of me, aware how people refer to this mansion. They say that she's saying it. They say that a witch lives here. Not merely a witch. A cursed witch. If you remain here, you too shall likely suffer your own destruction. You're worried for my well-being? Which or not, my mind is made up. I was sent to this cursed witch mansion to atone for my transgressions back in the city. It didn't matter what lived here, I had no chance, I had no choice. Which will strike you first, I wonder? Regret or the curse? You seem to be doing just fine. It's only a tale. The witch is real, very much so. It's not a legend, nor a fairy tale. The witch's name was Morgana. Is me. So it's the same, but he claimed himself to be the witch. Yes. That was our first encounter. It was nothing flowery or dramatic. It was rather laced with suspicion and wariness. We knew nothing about one another, and I had no interest in changing that. But nonetheless, that was where it all began, where my history with hers commenced. It's the maid. The woman had jaded eyes. Open wide, they glimmered like jewels in the shining light through the stained glass window. She seemed to be at a loss for words. I wasn't lying per se. The rumors said a witch lived in this house, and I was the only one who filled that criteria. Thus said the rumors could be interpreted to be talking about me. Oh, I'm talking about myself. After staring at me dumbfounded for a few moments, the woman suddenly burst into laughter. Oh wow. Ha 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 ha, fuck you. Here I was thinking you were kind of scary, and turns out you're actually quite funny. What? I never would have guessed that you were someone to tell such ridiculous jokes with a straight face. I wasn't. You don't look like a witch. You don't look at all like a witch. I mean, it's dark and I can't really see, but you seem to me like rather a handsome man. The word witch has a broader meaning than just a woman who practices magic. Any unholy person with cursed powers, man or woman, can be considered a witch. I think I get what you're trying to say, but my mental image of a witch is definitely more a woman. So you're not a witch. To tell you the truth, I didn't know who might be here, which had me rather scared. But I think I can make this work. What do you... It's a pleasure to meet you, Master. Master. I was sent here from your old home. I was an Abigail for your mother, but, well, I might have made a little goof. I froze in the moment the word left her mouth. Home. It rattled around in my skull, shaking up terrible memories that almost brought me to my knees. Why, after all these years, were they reaching out to me now? Even sending someone to bring me back. Just sending someone. To what end? For what purpose had they shipped an Abigail to this remote mansion? What was my mother thinking? Was this another one of her attempts to break my curse? What do you mean you made a little goof? My voice came out weak. I did my best not to let it show on my face. It was a teensy tiny mistake. Nothing need to concern yourself with. What did my mother say about me? Well, it was actually your father who told me to come here. I never really spoke with your mother much. Father sent you. That made even less sense. Why would he have? Did father even know I was here? No, if he had known, I would have been... Who was this woman? And what was her goal in asking to stay here? Well, there you have it. I'll be here for a while. If you need me for anything, do not hesitate to ask. I'm confident I can handle most everyday tasks. Now, where should I begin? Oh, I know. Are you hungry, Master? Food. I can't imagine you eat much being as skinny as you are. I turned my back on her without responding. No matter what her goal was, she had been sent here from that house. There was no way anything good could come of that, and there was no way I could live with someone who had ties to them. I prayed she would take a hint and give up and leave. Master. So I kept ignoring her. Master, Master. I ignored. Master. I ignored her. Master, what would you like for supper? Nothing. But failed, spinning back and shouting. Her eyes went wide when she gave an impish giggle, and then she gave an impish giggle. I glared at her as she was fidgeting uncomfortably. Eating is one of the most basic human needs, so if you're hungry, you should really eat. I said I didn't want. Fuck. What was that sound? Must you ask? It's not very polite thing to ask a lady, you know. Huh? Oh, you know, it was a long trip and all I had to eat on the road was dry fruits. I felt like I was some kind of animal. So, what I'm trying to say is that I'm hungry. That wasn't the sound of her stomach growling, wasn't it? I thought lightning had struck in the distance. And would like some supper. The kitchen is at the far end of the hall on the first door. There's food in the cellar. Help yourself to any of it. Thank you so much. Honestly, I feel like I haven't eaten in days and I'm about to die of starvation. Oh, and I shouldn't need any help finding it. I plan on exploring the house anyways. It's rather exciting being in a new place. Ugh, damn it. That did not go as planned. Oh well. She can do as she please. I have nothing to do with it. Oh, Master, are you sure you don't... No. Master. Master. What is it now? My name is Giselle. It's a pleasure to meet you. And your name... Oh, Master, you... I actually left the room at the time, making my way back to my chambers. At some point, I would seriously have to chase her out, especially considering she had come from that house. But regardless, I was not terribly fond of her. I didn't really understand Michael. Oh, we're back to Giselle. But that was probably because we were still essentially strangers. Having been sent to the mansion as reparation for my mistakes, I wasn't sure who I might find there, but I was tentatively convinced that he wasn't a terrible person. He didn't do anything to me except stay away. Michael spent most of his time in his chambers, which he had told me to never enter under any circumstances, so we rarely encountered one another in the halls. For that reason, I made an effort to be kind and cheerful on the sporadic occasions we did cross paths. I figured if I kept that up long enough, he would eventually warm up to me. And as new housemates, being able to enjoy our time together was obviously preferable to the alternative. If I did manage to break the ice, I hope we would be able to do some talking about the mansions, about him, about me. I just had to keep working at it. Michael didn't need me to take care of him. He handled his own day-to-day needs and activities by himself, and in fact he didn't ask me for anything. An aristocrat who had no use for his servants. I haven't met anyone like him before. Alright then. That meant about all I could do was clean. I wasn't sure how his room looked, but the rest of the house was quite frankly an absolute disaster. The dust was so heavy it was obvious it hadn't been touched in years. Let's get started. It couldn't be healthy to live in these conditions, so I set out to clean each room in the house one by one. That said, it wasn't going to be an easy task. Not because I was bad at cleaning, in fact I consider myself quite good at it, but because it was near impossible to find all the dust and grimes that needed cleaning under the flickering of a candlelight. I can't understand how anyone sane can live in this darkness. What's wrong with him? Maybe he... Oh, wait, I forgot. Is the witch talking? No, the witch's not talking. Maybe he is actually a vampire. Maybe. Oh god. Wouldn't that be something? I can see it now, him sneaking out every night to suck the blood of pretty girls. Priceless. Ack, that mean I'm in trouble. Look at me, Miss One Woman Comedy Show here. Yep. If I'm able to get him to warm up to me though, maybe he'll give me a little more room to make some changes. Like opening some windows. No light, no fresh air, no thank you. Anyways. I set the candlestick down, pulled over a chair to stand on and started wiping down the shelves. The chair legs seemed to be uneven as it wobbled slightly beneath me. So many books. I wonder, do they all belong to him? I knew parchment was expensive, so it was rather astonishing to see this many stacks of it in one place. There were even some books with bulky, extravagantly decorated covers. He does come from an esteemed family. I spent enough time at his family home. It was a constant bustle of servants and guests, the exact opposite of what this mansion was like. Why had he left his home? What had he done to be sent all the way out here, to this remote mansion with less than savory reputation? With a less than savory reputation. Need to be careful not to overstep my bounds. I am a servant now. A servant. But once the thought had crossed my mind, I couldn't get it out. I always had a bad tendency to chase my curiosities as soon as they struck, pushing to scratch the itch no matter how much my actions annoy others. I couldn't do that here though. I was simply a servant, and if I got on Michael's bad side, I risked getting thrown out. I wonder what kind of books he got in here. So I attempted to distract myself. I grabbed one of the books and attempted to pull it out. But the string of binding of the parchment have gotten tangled at the back. Well, it's gonna fall on her. Because book on either side tilted back with it. Bah! And then the entire row came crashing down on top of me. Ow. Oh, for cripe's sake. I had fallen off the chair and a downpour of books was still coming down on me. A mountain of dust with it. Cough, cough. Seriously? What are you doing? What? Suddenly Michael was there, looking down on me from a little ways away. There was, as usual, not much I could read from it. Sorry, needed to yawn there. There was, as usual, not much I could read from his expression, but I could hear a vague trace of aspiration in his voice. I was doing some cleaning and, impressive work. I'm usually better than this. It's just so dark, mistakes should be expected. I really think we should open some windows, Master. Get some light, some air flowing through here. I never asked you to clean anything. Did you do this entirely yourself? But there is so much dust. It can't be good for you. I am perfectly healthy. I see no problem. I don't see the problem. Had he even seen himself? No way someone that skinny was perfectly healthy. You look like you have something to say. You can make out my face in the darkness. Oh, you know. I wanted to be useful and cleaning it is about all I can do here, so you know. I was sensing something else, but alright. He let out a sigh and stepped over towards the pile of books. Then reached his hand down for me. Suddenly I felt a pang of embarrassment about the fact that I was still splayed out on the floor. But I raised my hand up to take his, only for him to pick up a book instead. You could at least help me up. You have legs. Damn! Damn! He said, casually returning the book to the top shelf. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe he was a terrible person. Damn. Is it because you can't touch him, because of his curse? So, Master, are all these books yours? Giselle acts, not a trace of remorse visible on her face despite having made a mess of the room she was supposedly trying to clean. I gave a oh, we're on Michael perspective now. I gave a curt nod. Really? That's impressive. It must have been hard work getting them all in here. There got to be 100 books here. Could you fill the whole carriage at least? You could fill the whole carriage at least. It's like you got your own personal library. She had been pouting only a few moments earlier, but her smile was back in short order. Her jaded eyes were like little balls of curiosity glittering in the faint candlelight. I was not particularly fond of overly expressive, rather overly curious women. They did not care that they trample uninvited into other people's personal space. Or were they not even aware that their actions were invasive? Yeah, I hate those people. I avert my gaze from hers. I receive one roughly every month. Ah, I see. Wait. She turned back towards the shelves. I presume she understood the implications of what I just said. Of the fact that there were nearly 100 tomes here, and I receive only one a month. Huh? Giselle fell silent. I couldn't blame her if she thought my circumstances or my family or my life bizarre. But I didn't care what she thought of me. In fact, it was my advantage for her to be uncomfortable. Damn. I just need her to stay quiet and keep her nose out of my business. There's more than I thought. I said not to her, but to myself. I had no reason to count the passage of time anymore. Only the books serve as a record of how long I had been here. 121. 10 years. Wait, 10? Yeah, 10 years and 1 month. What? There are 121 books. 10 years and 1 month. You were counting. I thought she had just sheepishly gone quiet. What an inscrutable woman. You've been here in the mansion for that long. All by yourself. Truth was, there's been times when I wasn't alone. But Giselle had no need to know that. Really? You already know the answer. A look of pity formed in Giselle's eyes. Enough. I never asked for her sympathy. I'm here by choice. You mean you weren't banished here? No restraint, this woman. No. I came here of my own violation. I didn't care enough to elaborate though. Damn it. Picking another book off the floor, I brushed the dust off its covers. It was a gradually decorated, gallically decorated tome. That's a very fancy book, isn't it? But apparently Giselle was unable to take a hint. What's it's about? I let it aside and opened to no page in particular, sticking the book out towards her. She was a servant and a woman. There was no way she could Damn! She was a servant and a woman. There was no way she could read. Let's see here. This land is hardly suitable for cultivation. It can only produce over sour grapes. I would probably get more out of it if I tore down the fields and made it into a market. Sound like a lord's diary. You can read. I was caught slightly off guard. It was rare for a noblewoman to be able to read and write, let alone a servant. Was she truly what she claimed to be? I had someone teach me. So is this book anything interesting? It's dull, worthless tripe. I can't imagine why anyone thought it was worth binding. Tough crowd. But it's not very often you get to see a lord's diary. I'm rather curious what kinds of things he griped about. Hehe. Lord or king, what value was there in another's grumbling? There was no knowledge contained within that book. Just emotions, unsightly scribbles. And there was nothing more exhausting in this world than being emotional. If you want to read it, be my guest. That wasn't my intention, but alright. Once I've got the whole mansion clean, I'll read it. I told you, you don't have to clean. Hehe. Oh, I got an idea, Master. If you're interested, maybe we could read together. Did you hear a word I just said? It's dull, worthless tripe. Still, you might see it differently if you read it with someone else. And I'm sure there are some books here you would enjoy, Master. You're wasting your time. The suspicion and restraint budding between us was trite and insignificant at that point. She was still smiling after all. If I had been able to maintain that distance, then perhaps I wouldn't have ended up hurting her. Oh, something bad is about to happen. Okay, so we're back to Giselle because there's a rose here. I just noticed that this thing does change as we change perspective. It has been a little under 2 weeks since I had moved in with Michael. Though we live in the same house, we rarely saw each other. On lucky days, I wouldn't see him at all. Wait, I read it wrong. On unlucky days. On unlucky days, I wouldn't see him at all. I wasn't sure if he ate in his room or our schedule was simply misaligned. But we have never had meals together. Perhaps he was deliberately avoiding me. That has to be it. I know servant and master don't usually eat at the same table, but even so, he could be a little less obvious about it. Am I really that much of a nuisance? I'm not doing anything inappropriate, am I? I'm being pleasant and sociable, aren't I? I haven't given him any reason not to like me, I think. I hope. He had never been very enthusiastic about my staying here. But I haven't been given a choice. I had been sent here by his family. Besides, no, out with the negative thoughts. Gotta stay positive. Yeah, he hasn't tried to chase me out yet. I just haven't broken the ice. I had to stay positive, optimistic, happy thoughts, and be myself. As long as I kept working at it, with enough time, Michael will surely come around and not be so distant. I got a goal, so let's get to work. First I make supper, then I ask him to have it with me. Gotta be proactive when it comes to the reluctant types. Alright, here goes. Oh, here would go. But we're almost out of supplies. Oh, so much for that. The cellar was where the non-perishable foods were stored. Dried food, smoked meats, cheese, and small scattering of root vegetables. Root vegetables? That's new. Looking at this makes me feel like a soldier holding down a castle fortifications. Yeah, right. Had Michael really gone 10 years on nothing but this? I would have raised the white flag long ago. He said he hadn't left the mansion at all in those 10 years. I assume at least he goes out to get supplies, right? Running out of food is kind of a life or death matter. I can't believe he hasn't set foot outside even once. Once in... What are you blabbering on about? Wah! Oh no, he overheard me. I assume you were talking to someone. Huh? Does anyone else live here, Master? I haven't seen anyone. It's just the two of us. Alive, anyway. You mean there are ghosts? Something of the sorts. Ah, there you go again with all the jokes. I'm not a child, you're not gonna trick me like that. There are adults who believe in such things. I suppose, but I don't really believe in ghosts or demons or curses or any of that. The church just tries to convince people they're real so they can squeeze more money out of them. Yep. Am I going to have to turn you over to the church, you blasphemer? No. I pray every day, honest. I don't particularly care either way. I'm returning to my chambers. What? Already? You didn't even come down for food. I only came down here because I heard voices. A moment, please just wait a second. What? Our stores are almost empty. What do you normally do when you need more food? I will happily accompany you on a trip to the market. Already, that was fast. There's two of us. I really don't eat that much, do I? In the dim light, it was difficult to make out Michael's expression, but I thought I could see a tinge of annoyance on his face. Hold your ground, Giselle. You said you wanted to get closer to him. Is that a parsnip? Michael was holding a tangled balls of roots. The reason I asked was because the parsnip looked like it was on the verge of a total decomposition. See, there's still food. Then he handed it to me. But, wait, you want to eat that? It's clearly seen better days. You're going to get sick. Or are you telling me you can survive on rotten vegetables? Of course I won't eat it. I just figured you were hardly enough. I just figured you were hardly enough to survive. What do you think I am? Wait, didn't I see this already? No, he's definitely a jerk. Or that's the result of diarrhea might have reduced your appetite. You're kidding, right? You can't be serious. Anyways, we should bury that outside. Then we could go purchase fresh supplies. I told you I don't go outside. Then how do you... Huh? A visitor? Who could it be? Perfect timing. You're a servant. Go make yourself useful and go retrieve the package. If it's not the delivery, but a wanderer chased him off. What package? Master. Hold on a second. What are you talking about? He's gone. What kind of delivery is he expecting? Michael stood there unmoving, veiled in shadows. He glanced over me, then drew his gaze to the front door. At his command, I raised the bar, pulling open the door. Nearly 2 weeks inside, the light from the setting sun almost blinded me. The world went white and my head pounding. After a few moments of intense blinking, my eyes acclimated themselves to the evening sunlight. There was no one outside, only a crate easily large enough to fit a child. Is this the package? Master. I turned back to face Michael, but he wouldn't meet my eyes. Though it seems more like he was avoiding looking at the light rather than at me. He's starting to seem more and more like a vampire. Not that I believe in vampires, of course. Regardless, I pray there's nothing bad in here. Yes, heavy. Master, could I get some help? Gee, thanks. I'm a servant, admittedly, but this is a lot to ask of just one girl. A little help would sure be nice. Once it's inside, close the door and bar the door. Close and bar the door. He said dispassionately, his head still turned towards the darkness. As you wish, Master. Once the door was shut, I found myself sucked back into a whirl of darkness. It hadn't been even 2 weeks, but the lack of light was beginning to become my normal. The outside world growing further and further away. Being holed up in here is definitely not good for me. I should go for a walk sometime, maybe plant some flowers or vegetables. Yeah, I like that idea. Maybe I could grow that old tango roots into some fresh parsnip. What else do we do? What else do we have to plant? It'd be great if there were some flower seeds. What are you doing? Open the box now. As you wish, Master. Oh, there's food inside. The box was a burlap sack filled with berries, fruits, vegetables, root vegetables, and smoked meats, as well as an assortment of bread, fruits, and wine. Aside from the fruit and bread, everything else was the same as what Michael kept in the cellar. Ah. Buried beneath the lap sack was a single book. One book a month. He really hasn't gone outside in 10 years. It appears you have begun to grasp the situation. Yeah, but why? This was delivered by someone from your house, Master, wasn't it? A servant, I assume. Why would they leave without saying anything? No one wants to talk to a cursed man. In the past, they would occasionally check on me, but that hasn't happened recently. They think you're cursed. Ah, right, you don't believe in curses. Then come up with your own explanation. An excuse for them not wanting to stay away. Excuse for them to want to stay away from me. That, for example, I killed someone, or maybe that I am insane. I couldn't. Regardless, I am not normal. Bring the food down to the cellar. Put the book to the library. You are, of course, free to refuse and run back into the woods. I'll do it. Alright. Then take care of that. Then you take care of that. Hey. What is it? I just noticed there's something else in here. It's wrapped in cloth. What could it be? Oh, the painting. For you to hang up somewhere in the house, I presume. It's so dark I can't see it very well, but I'm sure it's... Don't touch that. What? Michael, who has kept his distance from me until the point, suddenly marched over and ripped the painting from my hand. Ripped the paintings from my grasp. Master. His face was twisted into a look I have never seen him make before. Was it indignation, disgust, hatred, panic? I couldn't tell, but there was more than enough negative pressure to cause me to flinch back. Is that painting perhaps something important? A landscape painting. He muttered under his breath, the tension melting away from his face. I was left looking at his unusual blank, impenetrable expression. But his eyes were still fixated on the picture, staring at it unblinkingly. Why a landscape painting? Some kind of passive-aggressive message. It's not of anywhere nearby. Did they travel somewhere? Well, not of that girl, so that's an improvement. Master. Oh, you're still here. Still here? Of course I'm still here. Who do you think you asked to take care of the package? What's with you? Just running over and snatching paintings from me. You scare me. You could have explained yourself. What's so special about that painting? I don't believe that's any of your business. None of mine. Of course it is. You rip it out of my hands like I was some type of thief. I have a right to know what that was all about, and maybe an apology while you're at it. You told me to open the box, so I did. And then all of a sudden you're angry. We are not equals. Do not mistake yourself for my friend. You have a right to know. You have no such thing. You don't have to be rude. I say it again. Leave if you don't like it here. I never asked you to be here. That was your wish. My wish. Are you out of your mind? I never asked for this. I never wished for it. Who in their right mind will want to be sent to some house in the middle of nowhere? Who would ever want to go through that? Nah. Calm down, Giselle. You can't get angry. You're right. That is what I wanted. But I never wanted to make you mad, for us to argue like this. I just wanted to get to know you better. To get closer to you. I mean it. It would make things smoother for the both of us. It would make living together more enjoyable for us. Listen carefully. This is very important for you to understand. Do not try to involve yourself with me. Do not go probing around for information. And if you can't do that, leave. I completely shut out. The glare he was giving me, and the standoffish aura he was emanating, were reflected in his tone of voice. Why? Why did he try to push me away like that? Oh, we're back to Michael. It seemed Giselle really didn't know much about me. Despite being sent there from my house, she was unaware of the monthly deliveries, and well as the reason why I live in this mansion all by myself. Why though, why though, would they not have told her anything? Why she had been sent there, left completely in the dark? Giselle looked up at me, fear and bewilderment in her eyes, though I thought I could see a glint of suspicion beneath it all. Like her true feelings were bubbling to the surface. Everyone had darkness in them they kept hidden. No one was exactly who they appeared to be. She was undoubtedly thinking, I am not here because I want to be. I knew from the moment I first saw her that her bubbly, sweet effect was all a facade. Had she thought I was dense enough not to realize? She was no different than anyone else. What I didn't understand, though, why she refused to leave no matter how hard I pushed. What was she thinking beneath the innocent-looking face? What was she thinking? Oh, what was she hiding behind that innocent-looking face? What was she thinking? What did she carry on her shoulders? Everyone is hiding something, deceiving those around them. I had to figure out what she really was. May I ask you something? Yes. On the day you arrived, you said you made a teensy tiny mistake while working at my family's house. Tell me about that. What did you do at the Bollinger's estate? In that moment, a brief thought it was, her disposition wavered. Fear, terror, no, perhaps anger. I couldn't tell. Nevertheless, it was abundantly clear that was a subject she had no interest in me breaching. And so she bore in her fangs. The smile she donned now was visibly forced. It's nothing you need to concern yourself with, Master. I promise it was an insignificant little thing. She couldn't say. Why couldn't she tell me? What had she done there? What did this woman know about that house? What did she know about me? What was concealed beneath that smile of hers? I am the master of this house, and you are the servant. And still you refuse to tell me. Like I said, it's nothing. There's no reason for you to bother. The mere servant's personal blunders, Master. What are you hiding? I'm not hiding anything. Then you should be able to tell me exactly what you did at the Bolliger's estate. Like I said, tell me. Tell me. You won't tell me a thing about yourself, and yet you demand others to tell you about themselves. Here you are, practically threatening me, demanding I tell you something I don't want to talk about. And yet you still haven't told me anything about the painting. Oh, so I was right. You do have something to hide. How many times must I repeat myself? We are not equals. I don't care if it's insignificant or something you don't want to talk about. What? I'm ordering you to tell me. A trifling blunder will not get someone sent to live with a cursed man in a house spoken of so unfavorably. Whatever she had done at the Borgener's estate, whatever, Borgenlinner's estate, that had something to do with her, with why she was here. If she truly hadn't done anything, then she had something to gain from this place, or possibly from me. If that was the case, I had to get her to talk. To make me. Giselle's eyes were wide open. I recognized the look she was giving me. I know very well what that gaze meant. You're an abomination. It was the same as them. Fear, contempt, revulsion, repulsion. The way she acted, the way she spoke, it was exactly the same. You're no different. I made her uncomfortable. I made her afraid. She thought I was unpleasant. She thought I was despicable. She thought I was an abomination. In a frenzy, I grabbed her by the shoulders, clamped down far more powerfully than I meant to. Ow, stop. Her face contorted in pain, morphed into someone else's. Who was I directing my anger at? Where was the rage being aimed? Who are you calling an abomination? What? Tell me who. The black fear bubbling up within me knew no end. The girl, she ridiculed me. She denied my identity with her glare. I couldn't escape from that phantom, that reality. What I never called you a... No, get away from me. Get your hands off me. Wait. If his hand's on her and she's not dying, then he's not cursed in this story. Giselle's scream echoed in the entrance hall, rattling my eardrums. She frankly smacked my arms aside, and then I came back to my senses. She was standing a little ways away, breathing heavily, arms wrapped tightly around her body, glowering at me. Showing her disposition to my touching her. Ah. Enlightening. What? No. You just, you startled me, that all. Some servant you are, telling your master not to touch you. Right, I have, you know. I'm allergic to people. It's a very unique condition, I hear. I mean, can you believe that? See, you know how some people get all red and itchy when they touch a cat or dog. It's that except for people, so I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to be disrespectful. I beg your forgiveness. Why don't you speak your mind? What? This is what's going through your mind right now. I have nothing to apologize for. No, that's not... I can somewhat sympathize with your plight. being made to apologize even though you're hurting. I raise my hand against you first, after all. Then you forgive me. Sympathy does not equate to forgiveness. Now, take care of the package. I'm heading back to my chambers. What is it? You're not going to make me leave after what I just did. No, I'm not. For it will seem I can't make you leave on your own whenever I so please. Besides, I had yet to learn what she had done. It would be exceedingly difficult to get the story from her own mouth, which left me with one option. To write a letter to my mother, as much as the very thought revolted me. Several days has passed since the package arrived. We're back to Giselle. The end of my third week living in the mansion was drawing near. Michael wasn't getting any friendlier either. He continued to either snub or bluntly dismiss me whenever we crossed paths. I didn't understand why he acted that way around me, but there was little point in acting when he seems to think there was a little point in talking to me at all. Though at first I had been sure there was some way to get him to warm up to me. The more time I spent in the mansion, the more my willpower began to feel like it was at its breaking point. I could tell myself to stay positive until I was blue in the face, but it would only work for so long. The only pretty place in the whole house. I'm glad he hasn't covered it back up. The blue moonlight shone quietly through the stained glass window, vainly illuminated some of the room. I hadn't noticed until now, but the room with the stained glass window appeared to be modeled after the chapel. Rows of pews faced the window, below which sat what used to be a pulpit. There was very little left of it, though. An awkward link of silver was mounted to the pulpit front's face. What was, I assume, formerly a cross. Upon further reflection, rather than facing the window, the pew seems to be pointed at the pulpit, or perhaps the cross hanging on it. I wasn't sure why there wouldn't be a chapel in the mansion, but I had no one to ask about it. For a house of this size, a statue of Christ or the Virgin Mary seems more appropriate. It's a very well made chapel at any rate. I thought Michael had it built for himself. There would be no reason for him to cover the window if that were the case. Wait, what? Case, nor did I ever see him come to pray. He doesn't seem like one to believe in a God. I'm not even sure if God really existed, then surely the world will be much more pleasant, peaceful. Will be a much more pleasant, peaceful place. No unfair disparities in money or power. No senseless misfortune. I certainly wouldn't have found myself here either. But God was evidently quite fond of giving mankind trials, so he would probably tell me with a straight face that this was one too. Or perhaps we simply had a false impression of him. And he hadn't actually, and he didn't actually gave us anything. He merely sat back and watched from afar, far away. It wasn't his job to bring peace to the world, or to ensure our laws were fair. That was all mankind's responsibility. What is God? What are angels? I have no idea. Maybe the Bible has answers. Why should I pray to someone so far away? How do I know my prayer is even getting there? But still, it's not like I have any other options. Ooh, what's this? Don't you worry. It'll all work out, I promise. I already know where I'm going to work. It's a really prominent noble house, way out of reach of some small-time merchants like us. You never know, this could be my big break. Oh, I'm just kidding. Yeah. Don't look so worried. I'll be just fine, honestly. I make enough money for us to get back onto our feet. Well, for goodness sake, I can handle it. Leave everything to me. You just wait, I'll make our family into something you can be proud of. I'll be fine. Yeah. Say bye to Mom for me. I probably won't be home for a while. What? You're afraid I'm going to make some careless mistake, which you did. I'm not that irritated. Yeah, you are. I can be a refined and elegant young lady. Those nobles won't even know what to believe anymore. If you don't believe me, how about I give you a little taste? Ahem. How are you doing this fine morning, master? How are your morning beverages ready, prepared with the utmost of care? See, how about that? Not bad. What, you really think it sounds forced? She come from a family of merchants. I was the daughter of a merchant who ran a shop on the capital main streets. My father had passed away in a plague, so it was just me, my mother, and my older sister. It would be a lie to say business was doing well. We struggled to squeak by day to day after taxes. But we couldn't just abandon the shop and leave the capital either. So we tried to make the best of what we were able to take in between the three of us. Then my sister fell in love with a moderately well-off aristocrat. Both my mom and I were supportive of her and her desires to marry. But their union almost fell apart because she was not suitable for him. Merchants were hardly the lowest class. What we lacked instead was wealth. We need another source of money beyond what the shop took in. If only we had money, my sister could get married. If only we had money, my mom wouldn't have to work so hard. If only we had money. It was then that someone from the distinguished Bollinger's estate approached me. He said they were in need of Abigails and would love to have me. He said if I agreed to work with them, the Bollinger's estate will take care of my family. Generally speaking, noble houses took Abigails from others, lower-ranked noble houses. I thought it was the other way around. They took daughters from high-ranking noble houses. It was unthinkable for someone of my status to receive such an offer. So I took it as a once-in-a-lifetime chance and accepted the offer. I just pray that nothing bad happens to my sister, and that my mom is getting enough money to live comfortably. That's all I can do. They're nobility. They have plenty of money, enough to spare some. The light shining through the stained glass window began to grow murky, fading into blackness. It felt like a message from on high. No, my prayers would not be answered. The bluish-white illumination shining down upon me disappeared as cloud blocked the moon. Oh, come on. You don't even want me to look at a solidified woman like me. Oh, for heaven's sake. I never asked to end up like this. Oh, Michael. They are nobility. I guess they have plenty of money. Enough to spare some. Oh, come on. You don't even want to look at a solidified woman like me. Oh, for heaven's sake. I never asked to end up like this. Giselle was sitting at one of the pews in the room with the stained glass window. Just looking at her, you might have thought she was offering a prayer. But the words coming from her mouth were anything but prayerful. They were filled with resentment. They have plenty of money, a solidified woman. And then, I never asked to end up like this. So this is what's beneath the facade. Most likely, money is what she's after. All I need to do now is to confirm my suspicion with them. Just what awful secrets will I uncover? I gave Giselle, sitting in the pew with her head drooped, a cursory glance before leaving. Courteously glance before leaving the chapel. I had somewhere else to be. The garden. The bitterly cold air felt like dozens of needles flowing into my lungs. It had been so long since I had stepped beyond the mansion walls. My head. A thick mist canopied the night sky, blocking out the moonlight. Naturally, the heavens did not rejoice at my leaving the house. It had been 10 years since I had seen the mansion from outside. And it hadn't changed one bit. A gloomy scar upon the earth, shrouded in darkness. Hardly the kind of place someone would enthusiastically approach. Nevertheless, it was better than that house. What's this? Yes. Who is it? Michael. Who is this? What? Michael Bolgener. Michael Bolgener. Just one moment. I'll be right there. Come in. It's a humble abode, but make yourself at home. Michael Bolgener. Man, wow, I must say, this is rather unexpected. Just one word, and I would have been up there in a heartbeat. And how was I supposed to do that? I am regrettably fresh out of carrier patients. Right, yes. My apologies. This man, living in a small cottage not far from the mansion, had been hired by the Bolgener's family. His job, to watch over me. That said, we never actually interacted. He was tasked with keeping track of whether I was still alive and whether I remained in the mansion. The monthly package from my family was delivered to him, which he then passed on to me. It was infinitely convoluted, but it was indicative of how much they wanted to avoid anyone learning about me. Well then, what can I do for you? The manservant was visibly rattled. Afraid too, but not because of the difference in our social status. I had a pretty good idea what he had been told about me. He was afraid of me, or more specifically my curse. People fear that which they cannot comprehend. Not just children, adults as well. They fear demons, witches, and curse, anything impure or not of this world. But I had long since gotten used to being viewed as such. It didn't sadden me, it didn't disappoint me, it didn't pain me. Some things were too foolish to concern yourself over. Though it certainly doesn't make me feel good either. I was on some level annoyed that the woman's appearance at the mansion had created ripples in my once tranquil life. So before I got into the real reason for my visit, I decided to take out a bit of my frustrations. Raise your head, there's no need to be afraid. I don't know what you've been told, but I promise I don't bite. How rude of me. You're right, my sincerest apologies. Your job is to keep watch over me. If the mere sight of me has you trembling, what would you do if I tried to run? Would you have little trouble? I would have little trouble escaping. Yeah, that would be quite unfortunate. What would I ever tell your mother? I'm not sure that would end well at all. You could lose everything if you've been paid everything you've been paid so far. In fact, you might be unlucky to get out with your life. Surely your mother would not. You're aware of who you're dealing with, right? Michael, the cursed young son of the Bollinger's family, who made a pact with the devil. Pact with the devil? I don't need a blade to take your life. You wouldn't even make it back to report anything. Have mercy, Lord Michael. Michelle, please do not leave the mansion. Please spare me. Only joking. What? I don't have the power to kill by way of force. The man fell silent, but the look on his face said, You are cursed though, aren't you? Once someone got an idea planted into their head, it's nigh impossible to get rid of it. I am so cursed that anyone can see it. Am I so cursed that anyone can see it? That I need to be locked away in the dark mansion. I'm here because I had a question for you. Not to warn you that I may plan to run away. A question? For me? Yes. Approximately 3 weeks ago, a black-haired maid came to the mansion. Tell me what you know about her. I was told there would be an Abigail coming, but that's all. I don't know anything else about her. I swear that's all I know. I haven't been told anything else. I believe you. I never thought they would tell you anything. Right. He has been hired to observe me, that's all he was. A hired hand. He wouldn't be privy to the Bollinger's family internal affair. Take this. A letter. I need you to deliver that to my mother. You could have just left it in a box from this month's package, and I would have collected it when I dropped off the next one. I am in urgent need of information. Will you do this for me? Yes. Why, yes, absolutely. I'll fetch a delivery boy tomorrow morning. Much appreciated. Good night. You do take care. Man, Lord Michael. Yes. Is it true that you don't have? Would you like me to sew your mouth shut so you can never open it again? Not at all. My sincerest apologies, Lord Michael. That was horribly disrespectful. Good night. Curse I mostly certainly am. My mother's response arrived 10 days later. Damn. The delivery boy must have pushed his horse quite hard. It was almost exactly a month after Giselle had moved in. And shortly thereafter, on a bone-chilling night, everything came crashing down. The rift between us grew deeper, and the walls between us impossibly high. When I lay bare the scars in her chest, and mercilessly plunged my knife into them. What? What was that about plunging a knife into them? How did we get to this point? I hate everything. My spirits were getting darker and darker, like they were slowly sinking into a deep morass. I had been at this mansion for a month, and every day since felt twice as long as it should have. I had been optimistic at first. I had even had a little hope that me and Michael could get along together. But it hadn't taken long for that hope to be shattered, and the chair locked away inside of me. We lived in the same house, but we never spoke anymore. On the few occasions we did cross paths, he just gave me a cold glare and nothing more. Scorn and suspicion in his eyes. Whenever he looked at me like that, it felt as though my throat was being constricted, like I was deep underwater and running out of air. Like my very presence in the world was a crime. I never could have imagined just how agonizing constant rejection was. I started despising others, despising myself, despising the world. Convinced there was no one who could set me free, I considered running away for a while from everything, rather than live like this another day. But I would have done so a long ago, if that were actually an option. If they found out I had fled, that I had acted outside their wishes, my mom and sister would pay. I had succeeded in allowing my sister to get married and my mom to live comfortably. I had given them happiness. I couldn't take that away from them again. Not after what I had to go through to do it. No, cut that out. Getting way too depressing, Giselle. Pull yourself together, that's not who you are. Be positive. The negativity did not only come from my interaction with Michael either. No, there seemed to be some type of terrible presence within the mansion that twists people's hearts. The witch, perhaps? The mansion was, in fact, a bit of a local legend, which I had been informed about before being sent there. People claim it was cursed and that an evil witch had lived in it for many, many years. Michael joked that he was the witch, but I didn't believe him. I'm not usually one to believe in magic or curses at all. But being here so long, I can't help but wonder. Anyways, things can't go on like this. If I was to remain in this house, the situation need to improve a lot. I was going to lose my mind if things kept up as they were. I was ready to give up once, but I'm going to try closing the distance between us again. If I could get him to open up even the tiniest bit, then maybe that would make living here a little easier. I wasn't going to try to make us best friends or anything, just to repair our relationship enough that being around each other wasn't torturous. I got my work cut out for me. How do I even begin that conversation? Heck, what is that conversation going to be about? Maybe I should hold off, do it another day. No, I made up my mind to do this, so I should get to it quickly. The longer I wait, the worse things are going to get, and eventually there won't be any fixing anything. We need to talk. We need to be in the same room for more than just 10 seconds, and we need to get to know each other. He needs to know that he is not the reason I've come to hide. He's not the reason I have something to hide. Okay, let's do this. I made my way to Michael's chambers, which he had told me to stay away from. My stride was slow and ponderous, but at the very least I did my best to keep some semblance of a smile on my face. This is one time where I really like to have someone to give me a little nudge. Breathe in, breathe out. Okay. Pardon, master. There's something I'd like to talk to you about. Master. I guess he's not there. The door wasn't locked, and as was the rest of the house. His room was shrouded in darkness. The only light came from the candle in my hand. Master, are you there? I don't think you should go in. And he went in. I guess I missed him. It's probably the best if I don't stick around for long. He already got less than a stellar impression of me. I don't want to imagine what will happen if he thinks I've been sniffing around in his room. Yeah, I should get out of here. I spun around on my heels and take a step towards the door. When I caught sight of an object, no, you should just leave. When I caught sight of an object draped in a black sheet. I knew I had to get out of there as quickly as possible, then leave. But I was intrigued by that object. Yeah, this is how all terrible decisions are made. Something he kept hidden in a room I was forbidden to enter. Maybe it was a clue to discovering Michelle's secrets. Reaching my hand down towards the object, knowing good and well I shouldn't. Was it because I wanted to learn more about him? Was it because I wanted to tear down the veil he hid behind? Or was it the whispers of the witch? Who is that? What do we have here? I pulled up the sheet revealing a framed painting. of what appeared to be a noblewoman with porcelain white skin. What stood out about her though was that the woman's hair was pale as the white-haired girl, pale as her skin. And then, can we see the rest of her? The white-haired girl. What? I noticed something else. Wide gashes ravaged the canvas. Damaged her face beyond repair. Oh, this is what we find in door 3, right? What the? I imagine it had once been a painting of a beautiful woman, but there was hardly a trace of that left. The only feeling it inspired anymore was a deep chill. The damage was not accidental, it was deliberate, angry, and a contempt emancipating from within the frame was stifling. Thick, suffocating blackness seeped into me. Why would anyone? She was surely a most beautiful woman. Angelic even. A storm of questions assaulted me. Who was she? Why had her face been carved up? Why had the painting been covered? What had happened? Who could have? There's only one person who could have done this. Michael. Why on earth? Yeah, we kinda knew that was gonna happen. You saw it, didn't you? You saw the painting, didn't you? You entered my room without permission, and you saw the painting, didn't you? Angelic, you say? There's nothing angelic about that damn woman. I scrambled to make up some excuse, but nothing would come out of my mouth. All I could do was tremble. Oh my god. That is scary. Yeah. Why did you enter my chambers? Maid. What were you looking for? Yeah. Answer me. My mouth wouldn't move properly. I couldn't make a voice come out. It was like I wasn't even in my own body anymore. The whiffs of air that were drawn into my lungs were expelled as a hoarse gasp. My breaths were shallow and rapid. I was inhaling, but I wasn't getting in any air. I was terrified. 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 Of his eyes, of his voice, of his feelings, of the knife he was holding up to me. Of the terrible past I was chained to. The man's voice, the man's very flesh, terrified me. What were you trying to find? What were you planning to do with it? Answer me. Another thing you refuse to tell me, then. No, I'm trying. Nothing come out of my mouth, though. Everything is so bright. And I can't catch my breath. I can't breathe. That's fine, though. You don't have to tell me. I have a pretty good idea. An idea? What do you mean? Money is what brought you to the Boganer's estate. Oh. And it is what brought you to me. Wait, what? And it's what brought you to me too, oh. There's countless of people who would love to see that house fall. And a noble family fears nothing more than dispute. Oh, this is like the first door. You know the first door where a noble family, where the white-haired girl tried to kill the noble family, Mel? You were, I presume, approached by someone scheming the Bolganer's downfall. No. And as it so happens, the Bolganers have a very unfortunate secret, one they are quite desperate to keep under wraps. Me. Someone suspected I might still be alive, so they sent you to dig up information about me. My very existence threatens to tear down that house. The cursed young son of the Bolganer's family. Michael, who made the pact with the devil. Who is supposed to be dead, but is very much alive. You sweet talk your way into that house, and into information about me and my present situation. And you meant to trade that information for money. I bet whoever it was put quite a handsome price on it too. Or maybe one plotting to ruin the Bolganer family is you. No, that's not true. Then enlighten me. Please, hear me out. I didn't know anything about you. I wasn't sniffing around or trying to bring you harm in any way. Then tell me, if that's not the reason you wormed your way into the Bolganer's extent, then that's not what you're doing here, then tell me what it is. Tell me why you came to this mansion. You want me to tell you about that? No way. That's just asking way too much. Tell me. I swear, I haven't done anything wrong to you. I simply wanted to make our life a little bit more comfortable. To bring some warmth to this frigid relationship we have. That's the only reason I wanted to find out more about you. I must assume I'm right then, Giselle. I must tell him he's wrong. I must tell him I mean no harm to him. But I can't say anything. A merchant's daughter became an Abigail at the noble house. Could you come up with a more obvious lie? Your father is the one who... Wait. How does he know that I'm from a merchant family? He looked perplexed. Maybe imprisoned in this house, not free to move about as I please. I may be imprisoned in this house, not free to move about as I please. But I have my ways. I know everything. Everything. Then he knows about that too. Yes, I do know. Please. Don't. Your quest for money. Don't say it. You slept with my father? In that moment, Michael plunged his knife into my heart. He carved through my chest with those words, causing me to completely lose control of myself. In a panic frenzy, I probably screamed all the way. I knocked the man aside. Ran and ran and ran. I could hear the clap of thunder in the distance. Oh, how I wish a bolt of lightning will come crashing down upon me. Maybe if God burned my tainted flesh with divine thunderbolts, it would get rid of some of the filth. But the jagged streaks of light cascade across the dark clouds did not strike me. only creating restless rumbles in the sky. So he did not stab her. His words just pierced her heart. How long have I been recording? Hold on. As I've been recording long enough, I'll probably end it here. This seems like a good spot to cut it off.